We'll start. We'll chant Om 3 times, followed the invocation mantras. Inhale deeply. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं Hari Om everyone. Good evening and welcome back. We are covering Kathopanishad. So we will chant the opening prayer line from Shankara Bhashyam. So one of you please unmute and repeat after me. Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vaivasvataya
Vaivasvataya
Mrityave
Mrityave
Brahma Vidyacharyaya
Brahma Vidyacharyaya
Nachiketase
Nachaketase
Cha Cha.
Nachaketase Cha.
Thank you. So we are covering the second valley of first adhyaya. So in second valley, what is the topic that we are studying is Shreyas and Preyas. So in the last session, we saw the mantra number 2, we said Shreyascha Preyascha Manushyametaha Tau Samparitya Vivinakti Dhiraha. Shreyo hi dhiro bhi preyaso brunite preyo mando yogakshemad brunite. So the thing is that Shreyas and Preyas, they both reach a human all the time. And what happens is that when you a smart person, a wise person would look carefully between Shreyas and Preyas, and the Dhiraha, a wise person, will pick up Shreyas, and the Manda, okay, dull-witted person, will take Preyas. Why does he take Preyas? Because of, for the sake of Yoga and Kshema. Yoga Kshema means I want to safeguard whatever I have and I want to get whatever I want, or whatever I wish. So that's what this one. Now, here, what we understood in our, especially in the last class, we talked about 4 Purusharthas, if you recall, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So the Shreyas is meant primarily for Moksha. It will lead us to Moksha, whereas Prayas will keep us in Artha, Kama. And maybe a Dharma can be there too. Okay. So with dharma or without dharma, it doesn't matter. As long as you we choose prayers. With dharma, if you choose prayers, what happens? You go to Swargaloka, come back, Swargaloka, come back. Okay? Without dharma, if we choose, we go to Narakaloka and come back, we go to Narakaloka and come back. If you don't believe in Swarga and Naraka, the heaven and hell, then what happens? If you choose prayers, if you choose prayers without dharma, we will suffer right on earth itself. And if we choose prayers with dharma, then we will enjoy here on earth itself, but we won't get moksha. So now that is our first line of understanding. Then Shreyas, what we said is Nishreyas or moksha, right? So now, so Shreyas is moksha marga. Now, if you take the path of Shreyas, you will become a sadhu purusha. Okay? Sadhu bhavati. That's what in Shankar Bhashya we saw. Sadhu bhavati. And that is beautiful path. Okay? So, Shivam bhavati. So that is, Shivam means auspiciousness, and you will get everything. And now, hiyate adhya who preyo vrinite. So such a person who chooses prayers, what happens? They are disconnected from hiyate. Hiyate means highest values. He is going to be disconnected from there. So now, usually, what happens is that Shreyas and prayers, sometimes they could be misunderstood as following the path of dharma and following the path of adharma. No, that is not true. This is an important point. Because when there is a choosing between dharma and adharma, you should understand that you don't have a choice. Okay, it has to be dharma. Now the question is that when you are choosing between dharma and moksha, okay, now dharma is going to take you in one path, adharma is going to take another path. Now between dharma and moksha, they are not like they're not opposite to each other. Okay, but what happens is that when I'm choosing dharma versus moksha, that means what? I'm comparing a lower dharma with the highest dharma, okay, to attain moksha. Because adharma will always give me inner dissatisfaction. Adharma will always give me fear, sleeplessness, and all of that. But as long as you're following dharma, whether higher dharma or lower dharma, it will give you ease and comfort. So, shreyas and prayas are not the choice between dharma and adharma. It is in the context of Kathopanishad, when we are studying, this is between the difference between lower dharma and higher dharma. What does that mean? May all, at least some of you, may be familiar with one of the most famous shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan Krishna ends his teaching with this particular shloka. What is the shloka? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo.
Papebhya moksha ishyami mashuchaha.
Very good. Okay. So that sarva dharman parityajya. So sarva dharman parityajya, drop off all dharmas. Okay. Mamekam, mam ekam sharanam vraja. Me alone. Mam is me alone. Sharanam, surrender to me alone. Aham, meaning Bhagavan is saying aham, me, tvam, sarva papebhya moksha ishyam mashuchaha. So I am going to, moksha is liberation. I am going to liberate you from all your sins. Don't cry. Okay, that is his last message. I mean, that's not last, that's his final essence. So, if you look at that shloka, so that means, what does Bhagwan here mean by Sarva Dharman Parityaja? Dropping off all my dharmas means what? Now, because we took out of context this shloka, okay, from chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, we need to understand why Bhagwan said that. Because prior to that, Bhagwan has spent a considerable amount of time about what is Swadharma. Okay? Then what is your dharma? And then he talked about based upon our varna. Varna means the color of our vasanas determine our varna. Color of our vasanas means if you had a lot of sattvika guna, you have white color, right? Sattva guna is white. The typically Rajas is considered as red and the Tamas is considered black color, right? So depending on the coloring of our vasanas, we categorize our qualities as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. So based upon Varna Dharma, based on Ashrama Dharma, you have certain duties. And the duties that are applicable for Brahmacharya are not applicable for Grihastha or vice versa. See, Grihastha can stay with his wife. Brahmachari doesn't have a wife. So sannyasi cannot expect a household pleasures from of a householder. So like that, what is valid in one ashrama are not applicable to others. What is applicable for one varna are not applicable to other varna. So all kind of dharma, adharmas are there. So Bhagavan is not saying like, drop off dharma and do adharma. That is not what he's saying. What he's saying is that all those dharmas are okay, but those are all at the level of a jiva. Okay? But now, if you want, and all of them help you succeed in your Maya Prapancha. Whereas when you come to me, even dropping up those duties and everything, that is when I'm going to give you moksha. When is that? Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Me alone. Okay, you choose me alone. You choose me alone means again, it doesn't mean like, okay, you have to find a Lord Sri Krishna temple and go to visit everywhere. Go to visit that temple on a daily basis. No. Means that Bhagwan antar bahishcha, right? Okay, who is outside is also inside, and that Bhagwan, if Bhagwan is both inside and outside, in and through me, is there anything like me, right? So with that kind of an attitude, that Bhagwan is me alone, I alone, okay? And there's nothing other than Bhagwan. With that attitude, I'm only holding on to that Bhagavat Tattva. Once you have that, then we get moksha. Moksha from where? From this Maya Prapancha. So this is what this Shreya Marga is preparing us to get there. Okay? So here, so it is not definitely path of adharma is a negative path. Path of dharma is positive path, yes. But just because it is positive path, it doesn't mean that it is the highest path. Okay. So this is the meaning of the second mantra. So now we will go to the next uh, uh, mantra. Okay. Any questions before we go there? So we will go check the third mantra. So, before we chant, I'll break down the words. Sa, tvam, priyan, priya rupamscha. Okay, so that is priyan, priya rupan, and cha together. Priyan, priya rupan, and cha will become priyan, priya rupanscha. Kaman, abhidhyaya nachiketaso, sorry, abhidhyaya nachiketyotyassrakshi. So this is a big word. In this, abhidhyayan is one word. Nachiketaha is another word. So together becomes abhidhyayan nachiketaha. Then atyasrakshihi is another word. Atya Srakshihi. So now all of them together is Abhidhyayan Nachiketo Tyasrakshihi. Now, usually in Bhagavad Gita, etc., we split the word and chant, whereas in Upanishads, anything with Vedas, we should not be splitting that Samastapada. This is called as Samastapada, meaning it's a compound word. We should not be splitting the compound word in Vedas. Okay, so we are going to chant like that only. Okay, Naitam. Naitam means na etam. Together it becomes Naitam. Shrunkam. Okay. Vittamai. Vittamaiva apto. Okay, that is Vittamaim avaptaha becomes Vittamayim avaptaha. But because it is going with the next line, it becomes Vittamayim avapto yasyam majjanti bahavo manushyaha. Okay, so these are the words. So one of you please unmute and repeat after me carefully. Okay. Sa
Sa
tvam
Tvam
priyan priyarupamscha
Priyan Priyarupamsha
kaman
Kaman
abhidhyayan nachiketotyasrakshihi
Abhijayan Nachiketo Atyasrakshihi
naitam
Naitam
trunkam
Truktam Srukam
vittamayim avapto
Vittamayi Mavapto
yasyam
Yasyam
majjanti
Majjanti
bahavo
Bahavo
manushyaha.
Manushyaha.
Okay. So here, now here in this mantra, what's happening is that Bhagwan Nachiketa is praising Nachiketa. Sorry, Bhagwan Yama is praising Nachiketa. Sorry. Okay. What? Satvam punaha punaha maya pralobhyamanopi. Okay. So what happened is that here Shankara Bhashya says, see, I have Tvam. Tvam means you. You meaning he's telling Yama is saying to telling Nachiketa. See, punaha punaha, again and again, Maya by me, pralophyamanopi. I try to tempt you again and again. How did I tempt you? Priyan, Putradin, Priyarupamscha, Apsarha, Prabhrute, Lakshanan, Kaman, Abhidhyayan, Chintayan, Teshama, Anitya Saratwadi Doshan, He Nachiketa, Atyasrakshi, Atyasushtavan, Parityakta Vanasi. So this is what he says. It means Priyan Putradin, Priyarupanscha. So what did I tempt you with? Priya, like things like that are pleasant things. What? Children are pleasant to parents. So I told you, like, okay, you're going to get, you can choose as many wives, as many kids, right? And as far as the wives, okay, I'll get you apsarasas, I told you. And then both the pleasant things, not just here or hereafter, right? So that means from the divine realm and earthly realm, I promised you, where you could have satisfied your karma. But what happened is that you thought through and you saw Tesham Chintayan, you thought through and Tesham in those Anityatva. Okay, you saw the impermanency of that. Okay, asaratva. Okay, asaratva means they are no sara, nissara. Nissara means okay, where it is like a shell. Okay, it is like an empty shell which doesn't have anything in it. Okay? So means what? They appear to be nice, but when you open it, there's nothing in there. So that is nissaratwadi. Adi means etc. So he said two, right? Anitya, impermanency, and asaratva, okay, uselessness, etc. Those doshas you have seen in Nachiketa, you have seen those. Atyasrakshihi. Atyasrakshihi means you are, okay, you have renounced all of them. Atyasrakshi means renunciation. Okay. Atisrushtavan, parityaktavan. Okay. So, and you have, and tyakta is dropping off. Parityakta is completely dropping off. So that means that, say, suppose in the word pari means usually completely surrounding. Okay, so like sometimes you you're asked to give something, especially like you see it between two siblings. Okay, so 5-year-old is having a toy, 3-year-old is pulling it. 5-year-old doesn't want to give it. Then mom or dad comes and yells, tells the child, the older one, see, you are the older one. You should give this toy to your younger brother. Okay? Then the older kid goes like this. The younger one is pulling, and he doesn't want to give. He's holding, right? So that is what, you are unable to ready to give. But in case of Nachiketa, it is not like that. It just dropped. Okay. So you just thoroughly renounced all of those. So why is he praising? He's talking about two things. Okay. But this praise is actually has got multiple layers under this. One is that under this praise, you see the character of Nachiketa. That is number one. And by showing the character of Nachiketa, what the teacher is saying is that you and I, who are interested in this knowledge, should have the characteristics or the lakshanas of this Nachiketa in us as well to get this knowledge. Okay, so Bhagavan Yama is reminding us that don't be tempted by the worldly things or divine worldly things, okay, in this path of seeking moksha. So that is the primary thing. Because what do you mean? Okay, is someone going to tempt me with apsaras, etc.? No, not like that. What happens is sometimes even great Mahatmas, great seekers, over a period of time, they may get some siddhis. When they get some siddhis, the one who is careful, they don't pay attention to those. They let them, like what do you do? They do namaskar to those siddhis and they let them be there. They don't even attempt to acknowledge the presence of those siddhis and they continue with their sadhana. Some other people, they get hooked onto it and then they go in a side, they get sidetracked from their sadhana for moksha. For example, see, you may hear about this great astrologer who, as soon as he looks at your face, he can tell you what happened to you, like your entire Jataka, he can tell you like your entire history and future, he can tell you 100% correctly. Okay, not only yours, but your spouses, your children's, and your parents, he can tell everything. How did he got that siddhi? That's a siddhi. How did he get it? He got it through some divine sadhana only. Now, when he did that sadhana, he got it this divine siddhi. When he got this siddhi, now he is utilizing it to make some money. Or whether he's making some money or not, he got carried away by that. And then he is showing, he is thinking that he's helping people. But whatever the intent, what happened now that he's telling the truth and he's also a good person, everybody is surrounding him to tell me what is my future, like what should I do, etc. And he's telling like this, and his focus on the moksha is gone. Okay, so that is what this pralobhyamana. See, the thing is that you could get pralobha, temptations, either in this world, I mean, like in this worldly things, or with divine things. But don't get tempted by those. Keep focus on your end goal, moksha. That is what he is saying, right? Aho buddhimata tava. Okay? Oh, you are aho means oh great, like that. Okay, buddhimatta. Okay, you have great buddhi. Buddhi means intelligence, and you're using that intelligence for right reasons. Means when having intelligence is one thing, and using that intelligence is another thing. Okay, so using that intelligence in right way is called as wisdom. Okay, so an intelligent person versus a wise person. Intelligent person has the data, has the knowledge, but he may not be able to implement it. A wise person knows how to implement it and he implements it. Okay? And yours, okay, you are a wise one. Okay? That means what? You and I also should be wise ones. Nayetam avaptavanape srumkam srutim kutsitam mudhajana pravuttam vittameem dhanaprayam. So what happened is na etam. Okay. Aptavanapi srunkam, srutim, kutsitam. So see what happened is that these people who are kutsita, mudha, jana. Okay. So kutsita means who has got ignorant people. Okay. Mudha means they cannot really think properly. They have a wrong way of thinking. And so those mudha janas, those who has kutsita buddhi, mean like crooked mind, what is their pravritti? Pravrittam. Pravritti means they usually they are interested in wealth. Okay? But you did not choose any of that wealth. So that means what? We should also be like Nachiketa. Yasyam srutau majjanti sidanti bahavaha aneke mudha manusyaha. So what happens is that most people, these mudha manusyas, these ignorant beings, bahavaha, aneke means lot, so many them are there. What do they do? We all walk in that path. In which path? In the path of prayers, and then we perish in there. Okay, so that's what Shankaracharya says, right? So again and again, basically what I have said, okay, Bhagavan Yama is trying to entice Nachiketa, right? And when he is doing that, okay, with either apsaras, nritya, sarasa, saratha, vadya, etc., how did Nachiketa respond? Sarvendriyanam jayanti tejaha. That's what he said, right? Api sarvaha jivitam alpamasya. Okay. So when he tried to say like, okay, take this house, that, okay, enjoy putra and all of that, he said all the indriyas are going to lose their efficacy. And how much ever, he said, like, I'm going to give long life, api sarvam jivitam alpamasya. Okay. However much life you give, Yama, that is alpam. Why it is alpam, means small? Does it mean that Nachiketa is greedy? No. The Yama who is the giver himself, his life is a set span. Okay. So it's a Brahmanda. In a Brahmanda, where Brahmaji creates this whole 14 bhuvanas, Chaturdasha bhuvanas, a Yama is a post, right? Indra is a post. All these are posts. Now, when Brahmaji's lifetime is over, what happens? This entire Brahmanda is collapsed, right? Like it goes into Laya. When that happens, what happens to all these jivas? They also have to go into Laya. So that means that this Yama also has to go into Laya. So can he give more life than himself to Nachiketa, he cannot give. So that means whatever that number is, whether it is billions or trillions or zillions, whatever it is a finite number. I'm not seeking finitude. Okay? I'm not seeking bigger number. I'm seeking infinity. Infinity is bigger than any biggest number you can imagine. Okay? Because when we are children, we used to say, I am angry. I'm double angry than you. I'm triple angry than you. I'm 100 angry with you. I'm 100% angry with you. Right? So whatever number you pick, there's always a plus one to that. So, but this Nachiketa is seeking that infinitude as opposed to something that is finite. And anything in Praya Marga, that is all finite. Okay. So, and how did he come to choose that? Is because, okay, Atra Sakshihi. So Atra Sakshi is he dropped it because of what? Viveka and Vairagya. Viveka is proper knowledge, ability to discriminate between what is permanent and what is impermanent. And once you are able to see what is permanent and what is impermanent, then Vairagya comes for what is impermanent. And Vairagya says, okay, so this is impermanent, so drop it off. So, for example, right, in this, a simple example is, if you have a permanent job and a temporary job, which job would you pick? You will pick permanent job. Now, in this universe, this Prakriti is impermanent. So this Maya is impermanent. The Maya born things are impermanent. Maya born, everything in this universe that you see is Maya, born out of Maya, only Maya Janita. All of them are impermanent. Brahman alone is permanent. So, what should we all choose? We should choose Brahman. So, that is what he is seeing, right? So, it said that Naitam Shranka Vittamayi Vaptavo, right? So, here, Vittamayi means, Vittam means money. Okay? Vittamayima avapto means what? Whatever you can get through Vittam. Whatever you can get through Vittam is, Vittam means whatever you get Vittam means some pleasures on earth. Okay? And then what? If I do some good karmas, okay, what am I going to get? I get some pleasures on earth. Now, if I do some upasana, etc., then I get pleasures of Svargaloka also. Actually, there is a saying, a quotation in Sanskrit. It says, Putrena ayam lokajayaha, karmaya pitrulokaha, vidyaya devaloka. Means what? Putrena. Okay. With your children, with your progeny, you can win over this world. Why? I mean, assuming that you have good kids, okay, who loves you and who respect your words, what happens is that whatever you want to get done, they will do it for you. Okay? So with putras, this world you can conquer. Okay? May not be the whole world, but maybe your needs and your immediate needs and surroundings. And then when you perform karma, karma here is referring to the karma kanda portion of Vedas. So that means that you do Ashwamedha Yaga or this Soma Yajna, that Yajna, this Yajna, those kind of things. When you do, when those Vaidika karmas are done, what happens is karmaya, through karma, with those karmas, someone can go to Pitruloka. Pitruloka means this heavenly abode where our ancestors go when they do punya karmas. Then once the punya is done, what happens? They have to come back and they have to take birth again. So what happened? Putras only help you within this lifetime, whereas your karmas helped you to go to Pitraloka. Now, Vidyaya, Devaloka. Now, Vidya here doesn't mean Laukika Vidya. Laukika Vidya means transactional. Okay, so by studying medicine or by studying law, engineering, MBA, no, not that Vidya. Rather, Vidya means we are talking about this Jnana. It is going to take you to much higher abodes. Okay, so that Devaloka is called as, like, say, for example, if you're performing Upasana, etc., all of that, these are, you can go to much higher abodes like Brahmaloka, etc. But depending on where you are with your spiritual journey, either you may have to come back and continue until you get moksha, or you may get a Kravamukti. We don't know yet. Okay, so this is what it is. Putrena ayam lokajayaha, karmaya pitralokajayaha, vidyaya devalokajayaha. So, but what happened is that in all of these, you're only going to some heights and you're coming back. Okay? So, in one case, you are rising 2 feet above ground. In other case, you're rising 200 feet above ground. But in both cases, you're falling back on ground. Okay? So, that is why, okay, you, yasyam majjanti baho manushya. So, majority of our beings are lost in here because we are choosing prayers. And that prayers is including yoga and kshema in this world, and or desire for the higher worlds, Pitraloka, Devaloka, etc. So that is why I am praising you, Nachiketa. That is what Yama is saying. So what does that mean like for us? Again, just to confirm, Yama's praise of Nachiketa is reminder for us about Nachiketa's character and what character should we have, we must develop to become eligible and to walk in this path. Because see, one of the things is in Vedanta, it says that in Vedanta, I mean in Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan Krishna says that the only one who is perfect is Jnani. Now, if a Jnani is a perfect person, he's not an individual anymore. Right? He has got a Jivan Mukti. So that means what? Anyone else is an Ajnani, and everybody else other than Jnanis are Ajnani and hence imperfect. So now, only when you get perfect score, you can get to walk on this path. No, we all know that we have imperfections. Yet, with these imperfections, we should start walking. So that way we walk towards perfection. Okay. So do not think that, oh, okay, I don't have all of these qualities. That, okay, so here, whatever Nachiketa is being praised of by Yama, I don't have all of those qualities. So I should close this Kathopanishad book and do something else, because in Hindi there's a nice saying that na ghar ka na ghat ka. So neither here nor there. Okay, so instead, at least let me enjoy this at least. Okay, so anyway, I'm not going to gain moksha. So why am I wasting my time? No, don't think like that. Rather, this is something that we should strive for perfection and we should aim for perfection and understand that we keep falling again and again and again, not once, not twice. We may be falling every day, but just it is not about the falling, but our ability to get up right back up. Now, if I fall, okay, physically, if I fall, it hurts my leg. I may have to go to doctor. Okay, and the doctor may say you broke this thing or that thing, and then he may ask for surgery, and then after surgery, I may not be able to walk properly again at a physical level. But when I fall mentally, okay, in my path, of course I lose, okay, my progress. But all I need to do is mentally, instead of getting depressed, just need to pray to Bhagwan. Bhagwan, I fell. Why did I fall? Because of my vasanas. Okay, so I am a jiva from anadi, from time immemorial. All these days I did not get moksha. I don't know if I got the desire for moksha in my past lives or not, but I do have the desire for moksha. You know all my weaknesses. If I fell down, you understand my weakness, the level of weaknesses I have. You know that I'm not strong. Help me. That's all we need to pray. And we are ready to get up and walk our path again. There's no injury. Okay. So while we see all of these qualities in Nachiketa, we should aspire for them, but don't get distraught saying that, oh, I have this many bad qualities, that bad qualities. I remember, like, especially like when I sit for meditation, I remember how much hatred I have for my neighbor or my boss, right? So all of those come. So with all these kind of bad qualities, how can I attain moksha? Don't think like that. That is the primary part here. So we'll go to the next mantra. Any questions on this before we go to the next one? So the next mantra is mantra number 4. We'll break down the mantra and then we will chant. Okay. Duram and ete. Together it becomes Duramete. Viparite. Viparite is a single word. Okay. Duramete. Viparite. Vishuchi. Avidya. Ya. Cha. Vidyeti. Vidya and iti becomes Vidyeti. Jnata. Vidyabhipsinam. Okay. So it is Vidya and Abhipsinam. Vidyabhipsinam. Nachiketasam. Manye. Na. Tva. Kama. Okay. Bahavaha. Bahava. Alolupanta. Okay. Bahavaha alolupanta becomes Bahavo Lolupanta. Okay. Bahavo Lolupanta. Okay. So please chant after me. Duramete.
Duramete.
Viparite.
Viparite.
Vishuchi.
Vishuche.
Avidya.
Avidya.
Ya.
Ya.
Cha.
Cha.
Vidyeti.
Vidyeti.
Jnata.
Jnata.
Vidyabhipsinam.
Vidyabhipsinam.
Nachiketasam.
Nachaketasam.
Manye.
Manye.
Na.
Na.
Tva.
Tva.
Kama.
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 Bahavolupanta.
Bahavo loluvanta.
Panta.
Panta.
Bahavo.
Bahavo lolupanta.
Okay. So now what happened is that in the previous mantra, he said he praised. Now what happens to someone who takes the path of Shreyas, and what happens to someone who walks the path of Prayas? That is being described here. Okay, so here Shankaracharya says, Tayoh Shreya Atadanasya Sadhu Bhavati Hiyate Dhajya Upriyevani iti Yuktam. So in an earlier mantra, It said, okay, tayoho shreyaha. Okay, of these, tayoho, of these two, shreyaha adadanasya sadhu bhavati. So one who walks the path of shreyas, he becomes a sadhu. Hiyate ardhadya u preyo vrinite. So one who chooses prayers, what happened? They fall away from the goal. This has been said. So now the question is tat twasmat. Okay. So tat twasmat. So that is a tat kasmat. So sorry, tat kasmat. Second. Okay. So it says yataha. Why is that? It's because yataha duram durena mahatantarena yete viparite anyonya वृत्त रूपे विवेकात्मकत्वात् तमः प्रकाश विशुचि विशुच्यौ नानागति भिन्न फले संसार मोक्ष हेतुत्वे नेते तत्. See, usually what happens is before we go to the meaning of this one, often you see that even in Bhagavad Gita, etc., you see that Bhagavan says that you follow my path and you'll reach me. Okay. Otherwise, you will, what happens? You will go to hell. Now, when you hear that, right, what happens is that when you hear that, it kind of scares you and it also makes you think, what kind of God is this? Okay. What kind of God is this who is saying like, okay, you follow my path or otherwise you'll go to hell. Okay. So that means that God is jealous. God is possessive. God is a niyanta, dictator. Okay. This kind of understanding may come, this kind of feelings may come if those shlokas are not properly understood, if those passages are not properly understood. First of all, God doesn't have any likes and dislikes. God doesn't need anything from you. Okay. Again in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 7, he says, how can you pray me? He says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Patram is a leaf, Phalam is a fruit, Pushpam is a flower, Toyam is water. Now, you don't need to give all four either. Any one of them is fine. And back in the day, when Bhagwan spoke this 5,000 years ago, water is freely available everywhere. Patra, leaves are available everywhere. Even now, water you may still pay some water bill. Okay. Flowers you may have to buy. But leaves, you should get for free still. Okay. And where is that leaf coming from? Where is this coming from? That is coming from this Prakriti only. And who does this universe belong to? Bhagwan only. So if you just pluck a leaf from somewhere and give it to Bhagwan, does that make Bhagwan happy, or does that Bhagwan want you to give that that patra or that pushpa or phala from there and give it to him? And in reality, when you give phala means fruit, you only are going to give that fruit that you are going to eat afterwards. Okay. Let us say if you are allergic to strawberries, are you going to put strawberries to Bhagwan? No, then you are never going to put strawberries to Bhagwan. Why? Because you are allergic. Okay. And how many bananas are you going to put for Bhagwan as a nivedana? As much as you can eat. If you cannot eat more than one, Bhagwan will get one. If you are likely to eat 3 or 4, meaning like not just you, meaning like in your family, if your consumption is 3 or 4, maybe you'll keep 2 or whatever, right? So that way, but everyone can eat Bhagwan's prasad. So that is how we think. So Bhagwan is not getting anything. So Bhagwan is not really looking for anything from us to give him, offer him. What he is actually asking is offer something that you and I really don't need. What is that we really don't need is something that is a waste product for us. Okay? What is the waste product that is there in us that, any waste, if you have trash in your kitchen, okay, your trash can is filled. It's not overflowing, but it is there. Trash is there, and it is not removed for past 1 week and also 2 weeks. Now what happens? That trash is turning into poison. It fumes, it smells, stinks, right? So any trash that is there for longer time, it turns into poison. What is the trashy thing that you and I have for so long is our individuality, our jivatva bhava, our ego. That is all Bhagavan is asking when he says surrender, give up your ego. Now, when you give up your ego, what happens? You become one with Bhagavan. You realize your oneness with Bhagavan. If you don't do that, are you the loser or God the loser? Your jivatva will still be there. You are going to still suffer. So when that is told, if you give up your ego and you surrender, if you surrender, you will become one with me. If you don't, you will suffer. Then it appears as if Bhagavan is saying, if you follow my path, you're going to go, come to me, otherwise you're going to go to hell. So this is like a misunderstanding or a questions that would be there for people who are thinking but not thinking deep enough. Okay, so this is something that we have to understand, because what happens is that this mantra is going to tell you that whoever is going to follow the path of Shreyas, they are going to get to a better place. Whoever is going to follow the path of Shreyas, they're going to get to the worst place. It doesn't mean that okay, Bhagwan is partial to who is following Shreyas and hates who doesn't follow Shreyas. Don't think like that. Okay? So with that, okay, so now let's come back to the Bhashya. So what we are saying is that here, why is that one who follows Shreyas is accepted by Bhagwan, and one who chooses prayers, they fall away from moksha. They fall away from moksha means what? They're going farther and farther from Bhagwan alone. Okay? So, yataha duram durena mahantarena ete viparite anyonya vyapya vruttarupe viveka viveka atmakatvat tamaha prakasha viva vishuchyo nanagati bhinna pale samsara moksha hetutve netya tat. So, because yataha duram durena, because these two are far apart. How far? Mahantarena, very far. Ete viparite, and viparite means they are opposed to each other. Anyonya vyavruta rupe. Okay, and because Anyonya vyavruta rupe aviveka atmatvat. So because they are in different directions, like one is viveka, other is aviveka. Okay, tamaha prakasha iva. One is dark, tamaha is dark, prakasha is other is light of nature of light. Okay, vishuchyo nanagati bhinna phale samsara moksha hetutva. So because of that, you are going to get different results. Nanagati, different paths will give you bhinna phala, different results. And one phala is samsara, the other's phala is moksha. Okay, so as a result, one becomes Shreyas will become the cause for moksha, Prayas will become the cause for samsara. if you're asking, Kete iti uchyate, in case if you're asking, well, what are those two? Okay, so then Bhagavan says, Yacha avidya, preyo vishaya vidyeti cha, shreyo vishaya jnata, nijnata, avagata, panditaihi. So, there, what happened is that avidya, preyo vishaya, okay, and vidya, iti cha, shreyo vishaya. So, the ones with prayers is standing on top of avidya, and Shreyas is standing on top of Vidya. Vidya means knowledge, avidya means ignorance. Okay. Jnata, nirjnata, avagata, panditaihi. Okay. Now, the thing is that the Panditas means the wise people have understood that these two are there. These are standing on, one is standing on avidya, other is standing on vidya. Okay. And now tatra vidyabhipsinam vidyardhinam nachiketam tvamaham manye. So manye means I'm considering you that you are Nachiketa, vidyardhi. Vidyardhi means student or seeker of this knowledge. Vidyarthi, one who is asking for knowledge, is vidyarthi. And you are choosing vidya. Okay. Why do I think that you're choosing vidya? Tasmat. Okay. Yasmat. Avidya buddhi pralobhinah kamaha apsarah prabhutayah bhavopi tvatvam na adolupanta na vichedam krutavantah shreyo margad atmopabhogabhi vancha sampadanena. See, like this phrase came even in previous month also. Vidya, buddhi, pralobhinah, kamaha, apsarah, prabhutayah, all of those came in last month also, right? Because what happened is that when all of these pralobhas, all of these temptations are given to you, bhavopi, you thought and you chose Shreyo Marga, okay? And you were not distracted by any Preyo Marga. Okay? So, Ato vidyardhinam shreyo bhajanam manye iti abhipraya. Therefore, ataha means therefore, okay? Vidyardhinam shreyo bhajanam manye. So, I consider that you are a seeker of knowledge. Iti abhipraya. Who is saying? Bhagavan is saying. I mean, Yama is saying. Yama is saying that you are a good seeker of knowledge. So that means now there's a new concept is introduced in here. What happened? So far we were using the terms Shreyas and Preyas. Now there are concepts of Vidya and Avidya have come. So what is it? Preyas is Avidya, Shreyas is Vidya. Okay? And this is how it is been determined by all the seekers of knowledge. Okay? So that's why, like, Yama is saying, you are a student of Vidya and you are looking for Shreyas, okay? And you're not being tempted. So that is proving that, okay, you are a right student. Again, this is talking of this mantra is also talking about our own qualifications. Okay? So that is, we should choose whenever. So to summarize, right? When we have the choice between dharma and adharma, we should not consider it as a choice. We should understand it as I don't have a choice and dharma must be followed. Just because I followed dharma doesn't mean that I am walking in the path of Shreyas, because I can still be following Shreyas and I still can have my desires for my family, etc. Right? Ardha kamas may be there. So dharma with shreyas, dharma with prayas will keep me in ardha kama. So I should not be tempted by anything that is there in this that may come in my pursuits, okay, and focus on moksha alone. And this Shreya Marga is built upon Vidya, the thirst for knowledge. And thirst for knowledge is satisfied by the possession, like learning of that knowledge. That learning of that knowledge is possible through Jnana Marga. Okay? So this Marga, this path of studying the scriptures and understanding the meaning of it. Okay, this is what we call as the very first step, Shravana. Just because I heard scriptures, it doesn't mean that I'm going to do it. However, when I hear something and I understand, now for me to deal with it, what is happening is that in my mind, okay, in me, what happened? There's this new knowledge which is saying what is the right thing to do, what's the best thing to do, etc. And here are all my vasanas. Now, these vasanas are from so many lives. Anadi. Anadi means beginningless time. From beginningless time, I have accumulated so many vasanas. Some I might have exhausted, but some of them are still there. I don't even know what vasanas I have. So, all these vasanas are there. Now, this new knowledge is there. Which is going to win? These vasanas are huge. This is small. So if I just hear this vasana and say, okay, we heard. Go. Done. Okay. So class is over. Let me go do whatever I want. That is challenge. So now what can I do about it? Then I need to dwell on it. I need to think on it. When I'm thinking, this knowledge is taking more and more and more of my headspace. When this is taking more and more of my headspace, this knowledge is growing in me. Okay, you say that term, right? Oh, initially I didn't like it, but it is slowly growing on me. Have you heard a term like that? Like, have you experienced something like that? Okay. Say, for example, you moved to a new place, a new town, and you really didn't like it. But then you discover that there's a nice park there, a nice this thing there, nice that thing there. Then you say like, yeah, actually, this is not as bad as I thought. Okay. So that happens because you're dwelling there and your mind is dwelling there, etc. So in the same way, when you are thinking about what we have studied, either in the class or in the scriptures or whatever, and you are thinking about it, that knowledge keeps on growing and growing. When this knowledge is growing, what happens to these vasanas? Okay, because see, this knowledge is little bit, these vasanas are almost infinite. I mean, they're finite number, but like there's so many. But this vasana, I mean, sorry, this knowledge can kill all of those vasanas. Do you know why? All of these vasanas, all the vasanas, the billions and trillions of vasanas that I have are based on one and one, the core astitva, okay? The core sustenance for them is simple. I am Jiva. Because I am Jiva, I am finite. Because I am finite, I am incomplete. Because I am incomplete, I want that. I don't want that. I like this. I dislike that. All of them are based on this one core ajnana, that I am Jiva. Now, this knowledge, when it becomes strong enough, it can actually cut down that idea that I am Jiva. Once that is done, they all the vasanas that are standing on that, they all become orphan and they'll all fall and die. Okay. So that's the strength of this Jnana Marga. That is why this, and that Jnana Marga is, why are we talking about Jnana Marga? Because this is about Vidya, Atma Vidya that Nachiketa is seeking. And that Atma Vidya, because he is seeking that Atma Vidya, he is called as Vidyarthi, right? Student of Atma Vidya. So you and I, despite our limitations in our life, we are students of this Atma Vidya and let it grow in us. So we'll pause here. Do you have any questions or comments before we close? So if there are no questions, shall we conclude? पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ